How do we work with that fear, Susan, when we're trying to change and navigate to get to where our better place of our goals in a way, because we always want something, but in that point of letting go of this one goal to get to the other.
It's little manageable steps. So maybe the first thing you change is your perspective on things or gratitude. Like you change that negative sense of how things are working against you to recognize what things are working for you. So, it's really about little shifts. All of the little shifts are what make it possible to change what appears to or feels like the big things.
Okay, reflection of the day. Describe the locks and keys in your life. What door are you ready to open through you to you?
Ooh, what door are you ready to open? That would indicate that there's more than one door, right? So often we live our life in this like linear fashion that we think we're going like through a door, boom, through a door, boom, through a door, boom. You know what I mean? And it's like this instead of having a hallway of choices, we feel like we have a corridor with a door at each portal, right? And that's so not true because we have free will, right? We have a destination, a best version of ourselves, an opportunity to align with our purpose. But there's lots of different pathways to get there. And we have to stay open to the opportunities when they show up. And, like one opportunity might take you to Africa to get there. One opportunity might take you to Florida to get there. One opportunity might take you to a different, line of thinking to get there. It's like so many doors, so many keys. We have to stop with the blinders on, thinking that it's a timeline and it's a race and we have to get here before we get here, then get there. And we think we know what the path looks like. Ha, ha, tell God your plan, God laughs, right? Same deal, same deal. They don't have any idea what lies ahead. Amaryllis, when I turn 58, I'm going to be a college basketball coach. Okay. Wait. Did you play college basketball? No. Did you play any basketball? No. No. So what makes you think you're going to be a college basketball coach at 58? Who would have known? Who would have known? So we have to stop limiting ourselves by believing that life is linear and that we're racing to get to the next door. Because sometimes we get to that next door and we don't have the key. Then we want to break it down. We want to beat it down. We're so focused on that next door, the one in front of us, that we can't see all of the openings that our key could potentially fit to the right or to the left. We have to stop believing that we know our destiny. We know what we're inclined to do. We know what we love. Let's see how that unfolds. Let's try all the doors. Let's take different paths. Let's create different stories. Let's use different perspectives to see things differently. Linear. By age, bang, I got to be boom. By age X, I got to be Z. By age, here, I got to have this. Listen, life starts over again every day when you wake up. Every day when you wake up, life starts over again. What happened yesterday is part of history. Its only value is that it's historical in nature. That's the only value it has. What you choose to glean from the history of yesterday. And there is no way that you can tell me what's going to happen tomorrow. And this really helps during a time where the world again is in turmoil. I mean, we had COVID, we will always have something. There will always be turmoil in the world because it's the chaos that creates the transformation. The need for change doesn't come from comfort, it comes from chaos. So we have no idea what tomorrow's going to bring. That's why we can't live or hang our hat on what's going to happen tomorrow, or even potentially know what's going to happen tomorrow. Fear of tomorrow keeps you from actually living today. And today's all you really have.
Well, hello everyone,
Well,
and welcome to Authentic Conversations.
good morning. I'm Susan.
And I am Amarellis. If it's your first time joining us, then welcome. Energy brought you over to us. You clicked on it. Something brought you in to just capture your attention. And this podcast is mainly about that. We just kind of pick on words and describe our energy and where we are in this journey called life. The journey of goal settings and realizing sometimes that plan that you set up change the road got this veer, you were driving on your GPS. You don't question the GPS when the map stops and says, hey, there's a reroute, you must go this way.
That's
Detour.
it. Take a detour. Take the detour.
You are okay with that. You're okay.
Wait, have you ever clicked the one that's 8 minutes longer to see what happens if you take the more scenic route? Or do you always click the shortest route? I mean, really, let's think about it.
Yeah, we're going to take the short route always, because we
always
think that getting there faster. Well, you don't, but I'm sure everyone else thinks that getting there faster, which is about the timeline that you just mentioned, Susan. If by 25, I have to be this way, because by this time I have to be that, right? You have these timelines thinking that at that time is the time that you need to be there, when the plan is half of it is already set, and you have to allow.
Okay, so let's take the flip side. Let's take the flip side, right? So here I am. I'm looking at the GPS map, and there's 3 different ways. And one is, 8 minutes longer, and one is an hour and 8 minutes longer, and the other is the fastest route, right? If I look and I notice that the one that's 8 minutes longer takes me to what looks like a scenic overlook next to a beautiful lake, river, whatever it is, I'm going to take the 8 minutes longer. If the one that's 10 minutes longer looks like it keeps me off the highway and might expose me to a little town or something that might be charming that I might not ordinarily ever see, I'm going to take the 10 minutes longer. I have time to spare. I am not going to get caught up in wasting my life, hurrying up and missing out on the things that I can see along the way. Have you ever clicked the longer route just to see where it takes you?
Well, let me tell you what I was raised. My time, no GPS. So, but one phrase that my aunt who raised me would always tell me, don't always go home the same way. One, for your protection. You never know anyone who's just, looking at your patterns, because then they really have it down to the point where they know exactly at this time you're going to do this, at this time you're going to do that.
Goes, well, they don't have to worry. I don't have to worry about that.
Well, I grew up in New York, so I had to worry about it. But and I guess, in her world and time, she did.
Yes.
But she always said, there's no need to always take the same route, because that same route becomes a habit, and that's all you know.
Yeah. And that's all you see. And then you don't even see it anymore. You don't see it anymore.
No. Then now you're on the local, on autopilot. So now you're just walking. So now you're not aware of your surroundings. And I love that, because it made me always discover a new way, meet new people, a new route. And on the way there, I was always aware of my surroundings.
Yes. So, so what was born out of a need for safety also became something that allowed you to expand.
Yeah. And so now when I use my GPS, I always try my best to say, okay, so I know I have it there, but I'm in a new surroundings. You know, I just moved somewhere. I know how to get from point A to point B. I think I remember my landmarks. Let me try to test it and see what happens if I go this way, or what happens if I go that way. And then I find new surroundings and new views, like you said, and a new opportunity, a store to stop in and look at something.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's all about the mindset, right?
That's right. Linear, right? Focused on the desired outcome, right? That's outcome based. If I'm linear, I'm focused on wanting to get to Z from A, and I don't care what B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, you know, the rest of them, right? What they have to offer, because I am only focused on Z. But what if at Q, there was an opportunity to explore something else that would enrich what happens when I get to Z? I miss it because I'm only focused on Z, and then I get to Z and I'm disappointed. And you know why I'm disappointed? Because I didn't pay any attention to what got me to Z and all of the little things that I could have picked up along the way that would have made Z be beautiful, greater than expected. So attachment to outcomes, expectations lead to disappointment. It's the journey. It's the journey. And everything we see on the outside shows us something more about ourselves on the inside. It's really the inside journey. I mean, I know we say this, you know, I mean, feel like it's ad nauseum, but maybe it's not, right? It's the inside journey. It's the experiences we have on the outside that draw more clarity to our own insides, that allow us to become more deeply connected to us, through us to us. We got to go through us to get to us. We got to go through
Okay.
us to get to us. Okay, go.
So sensation, right? Tell us about a little bit of the sensation that is in the pause compared to the discomfort.
So sensation is simply a label, right? And there's lots of labels. Like, so there's lots of doors to take, there's lots of ways to label things. So I choose to label the discomfort or the awkward moments or the you know, the things that are uncomfortable. I choose to label them as sensation because I think the word sensation is more neutral than good or bad.
Okay, so wait, let me take a pause. So sensation could be for someone like myself, or some of us that feel energy. Is that something like your gut feeling, like when you're,
Yes, you have
you
a
know, this, you're
surge, you have a surge of energy. That's a sensation. So are you paying, so you have sensations in your physical body, right? So
yes.
sensations in your physical body, like, you know, if you're stretching out your fingers or you're rolling your shoulders or you're moving your neck around, right? And you feel things, you know, twinges, snap, crackles, pops, you know, that sensation, right? You have sensation in your emotional body, right? Waves and surges of energy, right? Or noticing, right, that maybe things are misaligned, or noticing that you're feeling uncomfortable or you're feeling a sensation, right? So I'm having a sensation about this conversation I'm having with someone. That sensation is drawing my attention inward and saying, needs further exploration. Don't be so quick to jump. Pay attention to your instincts. Pay attention to your knowing. Pay attention to your gnawing. Pay attention to your nagging. Pay attention to what it is that you're feeling in this surrounding, in this conversation. You know, it's really your inner guidance system. So a
This
sensation.
is your GPS.
Yes,
This is
yes,
your
it's your
GPS.
GPS.
Your GPS. Back to the GPS.
So
Back to the fact of the route, right? If it feels sort of not heavy, then go a different way that you're gonna feel, and then
if it
explore
feels
that.
heavy, then you know, think about rerouting.
Yeah.
But sometimes we have to push through the muck and mire. So pay attention to if the resistance or the feeling is valid. So you have to kind of check it. Do I have to pass through this sensation to get to where I want, to get to what's next, no matter what? You know what I mean? Like if there's no way off the island, you got to swim. So you can want to be on the mainland all you want, right? You might be terrified of taking that swim. But if it's the only way off the island, then you have to ask yourself what's more important. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So if you're in this job that you're not happy with, or the situation of this door that you're wanting to open,
And you have to tell
you
somebody something that's uncomfortable. If your only way out is to tell somebody something that's uncomfortable, don't keep rerouting. If after the third time you've rerouted, you're avoiding.
and that's being vulnerable. So rerouting and avoiding, right? That discomfort is, yes, putting yourself to being vulnerable to speak your mind and your feelings.
But you can only, if you have to get off that island, and that's the only way off the island, then it's never going to be the right time. Now is always the right time.
Oh my
So
gosh.
again, paying attention to your
You know,
no.
and fear, here comes fear, right? Here comes fear. Oh my God, I'm going to drown. Or, oh my God, I let go of this job. And how am I going to get another job? How do we work with that fear, Susan, when we're trying to change and navigate to get to where our better place of our goals, in a way, because we always want something, but in that point of letting go of this one goal to get to the other?
It's little manageable steps. So maybe the first thing you change is your perspective on things or gratitude. You know, like you change that negative sense of how things are working against you to recognize what things are working for you. So, you know, it's really about little shifts. All of the little shifts are what make it possible to change what appears to or feels like the big things.
So little shifts. It goes back to, how do you eat a whale? One bite at a time.
Uh,
So one bite at a time. It feels so like you're not doing anything. And I know this because I've been there, where you feel like a little bit at a time. What does this mean? But it comes back to through you, within you, through you, right? Like your energy. When you start being,
time passes anyway. You know what I mean? And so nothing for extended periods of time, then there's zero growth. If you do little things, one thing each day, if you start a gratitude journal or you write something, or one thing each day brings you closer to the ability. We want it all. We want to check the boxes and go down the hallway and line ourselves up with what's next. No, see what else there is to explore. Your whole entire life, you only get this one.
oh my gosh. So I have to, I had a birth plan. And I mean, yes, okay, like to the point, everything. And that's exactly the reaction that the nurse did at the hospital when I gave it to her. And she's like, okay.
Okay.
Sure, Miss Perez. We're gonna honor this as much as we can. And my God, was that thing out of the window in like 5 minutes? You might as well just light it up with a match, And
But it kept you intact leading up to, right? So
yes,
it quelched the anxiety. It lowered.
well, and it told others what were my priorities, what I wanted, what was important to me, so that when I was in a mindset that I could not no longer advocate for myself, about the pain and everything that was going on, everyone was aware. And then they all tried to, as much as they could, follow it, even though completely everything went out the window. And it was a great lesson for myself too, because I remember having to let go of control and allowing the process and trusting that this is the way that it had to be. From
Wasn't
having
going
the
to be any other way.
epidural, everything, C-section, I mean, everything. And then the second time around, when I completely was just like, okay, it is what it is, it all came through, and everyone is like, no way you had, vaginal birth after a C-section. But it was when, I think it was the fact that I just let go. I
Yeah.
let go. I asked for prayer and guidance. And I said, if, I don't want to choose a day for his birthday, that was one of my biggest thing. So there is okay to say, I want one thing, and trust that it's going to be aligned.
And then whatever it is, it becomes, because you can't, you really, there's forces that you cannot control, but you can only control how you respond to them. And
Right.
just the simple awareness of something has to change, and that something is me, because everything outside of me I don't have control over, right? So I don't have control over, what the boss decides at work. I don't have control over, what my husband is necessarily feeling or doing. I don't have control, so what needs to change is me. So what can I do? What's the one thing that I can do? I can read something. I can,
Go for
find
a walk.
thing that feels good for me. I can, pick up a hobby. I can exercise. I can find nature. I can, do yoga. I can, I can sit and breathe in a nice quiet space for 10 minutes for some clarity, because the clarity doesn't come when you're push, 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 run, run, run. The clarity comes in the pause. And you started this by asking about like the sensation of pause. And look where we went. But anyway, the sensation of pause, right? It's so hard for people to sit still with their thoughts. But the recognizing of your thoughts and then kind of cross-checking them with reality is the best way to start a new sense of awareness. Gosh, I'm thinking all these things. What aspect of any of these things do I have control over? Just how I respond to them,
Mm.
So I can choose better thoughts. I can choose better thoughts. I can be in a better space myself so that I can make better decisions. And maybe my job's not so bad when I get a handle on who I am. Maybe I'm not even meant to leave that job. Maybe I'm not learning and seeing the things I'm supposed to be seeing because I'm so shut down or closed off or angry or frustrated or jealous or scared or whatever it is that I am. Maybe the job's not wrong. Maybe who I'm bringing to the job isn't right.
That's
Oh, mm-hmm. It's always me. All I can do is reflect on me, work on me, notice me gently, and kindly explore what's my contribution to the overall well-being of my life right now.
And in that pause, guys, in that pause, that we always feel that is, you will feel guilt. You will feel like, oh, I'm thinking about me. That's greedy is the word, Susan, or what's the feeling? And you just don't feel validated that you should take care of you, but you have to, because in you and through you is your energy, so that you can love yourself and align yourself so
And you
that
can
you
only
can
give.
be,
You can only give
you can
from you.
give.
You can only give from you.
So taking care of you, pausing and taking that time to know yourself, and in that quietness, because the being surrounded by others, like for myself, who loves people and wants to be around them, I know how fearful it is, guys, to be alone. But getting to know yourself is the best gift that you're going to give yourself, because then you are being present to the right people. They will come. They're not going to leave you. They will come, but the right ones will come. Those that leave no longer need to be around you. The
Right.
right
Things
ones
change. Things
will
are
come.
always changing. Things are always changing, honor the change. But yeah, don't be afraid to take a little bit of time for yourself, go somewhere for a day, take a drive, take a walk, spend 10 minutes locked in your room, take a bath. I don't know, whatever it is.
There we go. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us again today. If you have any suggestions of a topic you would like for us to talk, let us know. Send us a message. Thank you, Susan, for your time.
Thank you, Amaryllis. Have a great day.
Have a fabulous one, everyone.